Well, ladies and gentlemen, this lady has been just a whirlwind of knowledge. Started off the beginning of the month with her on the road to the convention. Did a fantastic job. Love the information she puts down. So, without further ado, from Sacramento, California, she says, "Mr. Thomas, I'm drawing a line in the sand. I'm renaming the organization, and we're going to go for it. And I'm all in. And I love that about her. When she says she's all in, trust me, she's all in. Without further ado, can we give a warm welcome to another regional vice president, Miss Keri Roeder?
Good morning, Mr. Thomas. Good to see you as always. And good morning to everybody on the West Coast, and good afternoon to everybody on the East Coast and everybody in between. And Japan, 1 a.m. That always blows me away. Kush, I have no idea what time it is for you, but hello. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever, right up in Canada. I love that this is international. This is so exciting. And yes, the last Monday in March, I'm tripping out on so many levels that the first quarter is coming to a conclusion. We're starting the second quarter, and then April is my birthday month, and so I'm going to be turning. God's going to bless me with yet another year on this earth, yay! And so yeah, just a lot of stuff happening right now. And yes, we've taken the Northern California marketplace is now it's open and ready for business. You guys, if you don't have the flyer on the event that's happening this Friday, make sure you get it. It's a business lunch and learn. Everybody can plug in. We do ask that you register. There's a link to register yourself as an independent business owner, and then there's a link to register guests. There is a cost. It's $20 per person because we have to help cover the cost of the food as well as the location. So there's information on Venmoing for that. And even if you're not from here, send somebody, right? Send somebody from Northern California. If you live in Canada or Japan or wherever you live, right? Send somebody because we will take excellent care of them. So super excited. We are going to put California back on the map. People keep asking me, oh, when are they going to come back to San Jose? And yeah, that's our responsibility. So we're going to put Northern California back on the map so we can have some international Elevate events with the founders out in San Jose. I am throwing it out there. It is absolutely happening. So good morning, good afternoon. Welcome everybody who is new. I'm Keri Roeder, like Mr. Thomas said. If you're the first time hearing me, I want to tell you that the gentleman who starts off our morning is one of the most tremendous people you will ever meet in your life, not just in business, okay, but in life in general. Every time I have a chance to talk with him, I glean something. It is crazy, the level of information he has. And so I share this with you because I have a saying, and hopefully all of you have been around for a minute know it by now, right? Do not take advantage of him, right? Or no, do not take him for granted. Take advantage of him. Use him as your biggest tool. And if you're not working directly with him, that's no worries, because the leaders that are, all we do is forward on the wisdom that he gives us. So I appreciate you letting me be on these calls, Mr. Thomas. And I'm really excited because actually, as I was writing out today's training, because I like to put a lot of thought into what it is I do, because this is a big responsibility that Mr. Thomas gives us leaders, that he asks to do this. I have pages and pages, and I realized that the topic I told you all last week I would talk about today isn't just a quick 20-minute conversation. So I'm going to give you kind of some nuggets from today's conversation. And then since I've been invited back again in May, I will actually give you the longer training to kind of break it down for you. So what today's topic is actually networking to build your network. We talked about how we were talking about how you going to different networking events. But one of the things that I want to point out to you is we talked about personal development, right? We need to be, do, have. Okay. So part of being is personal development. And are you doing your daily personal development? And as every morning when I'm, painting the face on and curling the hair, this is not natural. I mean, it's natural, but I have to curl it. Anyway, but as I'm doing that, I jump on YouTube and I either go on the Al Thomas official, or I go on All Things Business, right? Or whatever pops up. And I listen to at least one training. And top producing, about to be regional vice president, Roxanne Coralejo, in one of hers, said, stop giving up before the finish line. Stop giving up before the finish line. That was in the topic, figure it out. So go on YouTube and find her and listen to her training. Figure it out. I love that she says that though. Stop giving up before the finish line. That's brilliant, right? That's another way of that picture, right? Where the dude's digging, and he one more pick and he'd have all that gold, right? And then this morning, Mr. Sam Foster, I was listening to you, and it was you've got a job to do or something like that. I didn't write it down. But here's what I was listening, and he was talking about, recruiting and then showing the business and all that. And he said, who do you know? How many of us have heard that phrase? Who do you know? Right. But I don't know if you realize this, Mr. Foster, but here's what I heard you say. Who do you know that I need to know? I was all, whoa, brilliant, right? I am so going to adopt that. Who do you know that I need to know? And then he went on to talk about, successful people and all that. And I thought, wow. So I literally stopped and wrote that one down. Absolutely amazing. Now, let me ask you all this. The personal development, are you and by the way, Mr. Harrison, you introduced Mr. Foster in that recorded video, and I didn't get a chance to write it down, but you gave a golden nugget. I'm going to go back and listen to it. You gave a golden nugget in his introduction that was brilliant, and it actually had to do with part of my topic today, which is networking. So go back and listen to it, because you said some pretty great stuff in the introduction, Mr. Harrison. That was pretty cool. So I got the chills. I'm so proud of everybody. This is awesome. Okay, so my topic again is lengthy, but I see a lot of value in this. And let me share with you partially why I see a lot of value in this. So I'll be celebrating my birthday, but my anniversary with you. May is my anniversary, my 15th year anniversary. And I think I was already a team coordinator, which is today's regional director, but harder to get to anyway. And we flew out Mr. Jeff Street to Sacramento and to do a regional event for us. We, as in the leaders, I was just part of the group at the time, right? And what some of you know is the reason why I got started in ACN, and I did promise you I'll train you on the way in which the horrible way in which I was recruited. So somebody remind me to train you on that at some point. But by the time I was forced to sit down and see what I was calling their stupid little video, I was all angry, right? And there was and I love seeing these guys at the Elevate events, because now Mr. Matthew LaMontagne, every time I see him, he's like, because he knows I saw Mr. Jeff Street jogging on the beach, and I thought, oh, well, I don't want to jog, but I want to have time to be on the beach, right? And then the next clip was Mr. Matthew LaMontagne jogging on a treadmill. And I didn't know these guys. They were in a video, right? But I thought, oh, I don't want to jog, but I want to have time to go to the gym, right? Those are the two gentlemen as to why I got started in ACN, from the video. Okay. I had the privilege of actually being in the presence of top producing regional vice president, Mr. Jeff Street, 14 years ago. I still get the chills about it. It was amazing. And you know what was great about this? Oh, I was a team coordinator because I was running laps. What's great about this is when Mr. Street came out to Sacramento and we were having a conversation on the side, he recognized me from being a top producer, right? Crossing the stage international. And so here I was thinking, oh my God, you went from the video to in my presence. It was so cool, right? Let me ask you questions. What did you do to be able to jog on the beach and be videoed by the corporate office and put in a video, right? And you know what he said to me? He goes, let me ask you a question. He goes, I've been doing this for a while. He goes, how is it you got started so quickly and you very quickly became a top producer? What do you do? So as we started talking, I was like, well, I'm super busy, blah, 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 mom, business owner, D. And I said, and I'm a part of the local chamber of commerce. I'm on the board of directors and I chair an ambassador team. And you know what Mr. Street did? He started asking me questions about being a part of the chamber, about the networking events that I go to, and all of those things. And then when I saw him at the next international, he pulled me to the side. He's like, Keri, he goes, I got to tell you. He goes, that was brilliant. He goes, I started going to networking things. I'm going to join the chamber. And a top producing on the stage, regional vice presidents promoting other regional vice presidents, was asking somebody new, what do you do? Gleaned something from it, started to use it in his repertoire of tools on how to expand his business and has had a ton of success from it. How cool is that, right? And so thank you, Deborah. I really love the idea that that's what this is about. We get to share with each other what it is we're doing in order to find that success. So now for the brand new people on this call, the fastest way to regional director and then a top producing regional director is your warm market. It are the people in your cell phone, okay? You're going to have PBRs, you're going to have PBZs, the people that you currently know. When you call them, they're on their end, it says your name, they know you, okay? That is the fastest way to regional director and then a top producer. Now, the long-term business plan for all of us is using networking events to build our network. So again, I'm going to just be brief because I have like 5 pages worth of notes here that I will train you on in May. But one of the reasons why I suggest and that I do use networking events to build my business and to build my network is because those are professional people. Now I get it. We peak everybody. We do. We peak everybody. You never not peak somebody. Okay. I peak everybody all the time. Matter of fact, I was at Safeway the other day and I was wanted to try a new type of salami, right? Super expensive. They didn't have one. The manager gave me a packet, whatever. I walked away from her. I got my vegetables and I went right back and I peeked her. Well, guess what? We're meeting. So you peak everybody. Okay. However, when you go to these professional networking events, these are professional people. Most of the time they own their own business or they are of a position in somebody else's business that they show up to these professional events. Okay. So that's one of the reasons we are looking for everybody, and we're also looking for people who are successful. People who go to networking events, it's off hours. Like they actually have to leave their place of business, leave their office or whatever to go to these. So they know that extra hours is what it takes. Okay. Mr. Al Thomas teaches us, right? Our 9 to 5 is what your job, right? Your 9 to 5 is what feeds you today, right? Pays your mortgage or your rent or whatever. But your 5 to 9 is what builds your wealth. Okay. And so people who go to networking events know this. They know that during the day is when they get their job done. During the off hours that most people are sitting around watching TV, doing whatever, that's when they go out to build their network, which your net worth equals your network, and your net worth is your wealth. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's a tongue twister. Say that one 3 times fast. Okay. Let's see. What types? Okay. The types. So there's exclusive or referral type of networking groups. So that would be like BNI, sounds like business, I don't know, BNI, initials, Bob, Nancy, Igloo. Okay, look it up, find a BNI in your area, okay? There's also Le Tip, and that's an exclusive. I belong to one that's never been heard of. It's called WIN. So ladies, where are my ladies? As Miss Chanel Burt would say, right? Where are my ladies? Okay, WIN stands for Women in Networking. We are a women-only networking group in my community, okay? And we have a rule, only 1 woman per industry, okay? 1 woman per industry, and we are the go-to referral people. If you want more details on that, happy to have a conversation. We could do a Zoom and I'll train you on what that looks like. Majority of my customer base has come out of that referral group. And it's women only. It's women empowering women. It's absolutely amazing. Sorry, guys. Anyway, but it works. Okay. So there's other exclusive or referral groups, right, that you could go to. Now, those tend to be exclusive. So it's your go-to thing. Okay. I can definitely train everybody on that. But do other things like the Chamber of Commerce. Now, one of the things that I suggest when you do these networking things, you want to stand out. You want to do something to stand out where people remember you, okay? Now, for those of you who haven't met me, I am all of 5 foot tall, but I've got this hair, okay? My hairdresser loves my hair. She calls it my signature, okay? That and my really loud voice, okay? But when I go into a room, people tend to remember me, and oftentimes it's because of my hair. So what do? I always make sure my hair looks good. Okay. I always make sure that I'm dressed the part. And then I always make sure that my biggest attire um part, whatever, is my smile. Is my smile. You know, that I try to make sure that my happiness shows out through my smile and through my eyes. So stand out, but there's other ways to stand out as well. Anyway, so you could join the Chamber of Commerce. Most chambers of commerce have once a month have a luncheon. Okay, so you could go to that luncheon. Now, yes, if you have a 9 to 5, once a month, you might have to ask for uh, a long lunch, I guess it's called, right? Where you can actually like have a 2 hour window of time. Your boss doesn't need to know where you're going. Just once a month, I have a commitment, right? That once a month I need to take a 2 hour or 3 hour break as my long lunch, whatever. And if they don't let you, then that says a lot about how you're earning income right now. But anyway, okay. So then they also have evening mixers. Okay. So you could go to and you can have an evening, you could attend the evening mixers. Now, what most chamber of commerce do is they allow for each business person, because you're going to sign up as a business. Okay, it does cost money. It's a nominal fee. It's a few $100s, okay, a year, and then it's you pay to go to these events. But what they do allow is for each person, each business, to bring a raffle prize. And so what I do is I bring a raffle prize to both the breakfast and to the mixer, but I don't. Oh, I already put it in the car. When I train you longer, I'll show you. I don't just hand a ball of wine. I like doll it up. Okay, but we'll talk about that when we train it. Um, Volunteer to become an ambassador. Volunteer to become an ambassador of your chamber. Here's why. Usually once a week, the group of ambassadors goes around to the new chamber members and does what's called a ribbon cutting. Again, you want to stand out. And then eventually you can either apply to be on the board, or like what happened to me, I was just assigned to the board one day. That's again, I'll tell you about that during the training, but I was like, I didn't apply to be on board. And suddenly I was on board. Okay. Okay. Then there's different business networking events. Business networking events. Why do business people go to business networking events? To network and to find other businesses and to expand their business, promote their business. But we're going to talk about what not to do when you go to these things. Okay, what not to do when I do the longer training. But these business networking events, they vary. They do like there's trades. So like in Sacramento, there's this construction one, right? There's just different ones that you can go to. And so go to find however you're going to find it. Meetup, LinkedIn, blah, blah, blah. Y'all know more than I do. But find those business networking events and then make sure you go to them. The thing with this is going to be consistency. Okay, and we're going to talk about that during the training, but consistency. People need to remember you. You need to stand out. You could join different real estate associations. So in my county, Placer County, it's called PCAR, Placer County Association of Realtors. I'm a member of that. Yes, there's a cost every year, right? But what ends up happening is I get to go to these events that the real estate professionals are going to. But here's what else I found out. We're called affiliates. There's all kinds of other business owners there who are there to promote their businesses. Moving companies, window cleaners, carpet cleaners, right? Mortgage, title. And so I'm interacting with all different kinds of people. And these are people, again, who go take time out of their day to go to these events, not just to hear what's going on in real estate, but to network and to build business. And then this one's funny. It's called YPN. Has anybody ever heard of YPN? Young Professionals Network. I was like, oh, I'm too old. I'm too old to go to that. Right? And so all the young kids are like, no, you're not. You can totally come. I was like, oh, I'm kind of like old enough to be your mother, right? Technically, if you were 18, I'd have old enough to be your grandmother. So, but they were so sweet. They're like, no, come network. And when I went, okay, cool. I wasn't the oldest one there. They just call it YPN. And what's great is they want everybody, right? And what's also great is these young professionals, they want to know from the older, more seasoned, what were we called the other day? Anyway, just kind of, been around the block people, they want to glean information from us. So what a great way to network is to, if you're older, right? Then it's a great way to network and meet somebody young and be able to share some of your wisdom, not just in business, but in life, right? And so that's great too. Okay, another tip is service clubs. So join a service club. There's Rotary, Lion, Seroptimus. I just joined Seroptimus, okay, in my local Seroptimus. But if you join a service club, please know you are going for service. You're there to do service. You are not there to build your business. You are not there to throw business cards at people. You're not there to like immediately pique people. You're there to provide a service to your community and to the larger, whatever your service club you choose. Now, why do I say service club? Then you're like, Mrs. Roeder, why would you say, to waste my time going to a service club if I'm not going to build my business from it? First of all, doing service is not a waste of time. When you give out, it comes back your way. Okay, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, you give up your time, you give up your money in service, right? You will be rewarded. I promise you that. Okay, and in time, you're going to get to know people. You're going to get to know people. People do business with those they know, like, and trust. So when people do business with those they know, like, and trust, and you just happen to be every single month, meeting for the Lions Club, or, you guys are selling hot dogs at the local fair to raise the money, or whatever it is your service club does, in time, you'll create relationships and friendships. And then in time, like Mr. Robert Stefanowski says, in time, somebody will ask you, what do you do? That's an opening. Again, don't suck on them because you're joining a service club to provide service, but in time, you're going to build relationships. Okay. Okay. So, I will give you the rest of my training when I do this in May. But one of the things that I really want to reiterate is that people do business with those they know, like, and trust. So the idea of being consistent in everything we do, and what is your mindset? What is your mindset? Okay. So if profits are better than wages, okay, profits are better than wages, you guys, right? Profits are better than wages. And you're going to take the time, your precious time, because your time is precious. It is. I recognize that. So if you're going to take your precious time to go out and do these networking things, how are you showing up? How are you showing up? And we're going to talk about the physical and all that when I do the training. But more importantly, how are you showing up here? How are you showing up here? I'm going to end it with this little bit of training. If you show up to a networking event and you are Eeyore, you are attracting other Eeyores. Do you want Eeyore? No, right? If you show up and you are Tigger and you're bouncing on your tail, right? And you're all excited and you're happy and your eyes are shining and all of that, are you going to be attractive? Are you going to be memorable? Yes. Okay. Now remember, because a while ago I trained on the Tigger thing, right? You're in a professional environment. Don't be inappropriate Tigger. Be professional Tigger. We're not having a cocktail and dancing on the dance floor, okay? We are at a professional networking event. So you're going to show up with your smile. You're going to show up with your bright eyes, right? You're going to show up with that positive attitude. When somebody asks, how are you today? I'm fabulous. Or, Roxanne the other day said, I'm fantastic. Or you can say, somebody said, I'm beautiful, or I'm having a beautiful day, or something like that. It was something positive, something where people will go, wow, awesome, great. Whether they say it or not, I want to spend time with you. Okay. Nothing is worse than, hey, how's your day going? Ugh, hanging in there. Okay, I still don't understand what hanging in there means. Like, hanging into what? Like, huh? Right? So whatever, right? Right, Kush? Like, hanging on, like, what are you hanging on to? Like, whatever. So however you choose to answer the question, how are you today? Or, how's it going? Or whatever that question is, however you choose to do that, you only have one chance to make a good first impression. And I'm going to tell you right now, I go to networking events multiple times a week. Okay. And the people who, when I show up and I, hey, how about you? Nice to meet you, right? How are you? And they say something negative, I don't walk immediately away, but I'll kind of, oh, good, nice to meet you. And then I'll walk away, like to go find somebody who's positive. Why would I want to spend my time, my precious time, interacting with somebody who's negative? I don't, right? So if we don't want to spend our precious time interacting with somebody who's negative, why would we? So if we don't want to spend our precious time interacting with somebody negative, don't you think other people feel the same way? Whatever baggage you have, and all of you have now figured this out. I'm going through a divorce. I'm in the middle of a divorce, okay? But when I show up to these events and I've had an off day from my divorce stuff, if any of you have ever been through a divorce, you know I'm going through. If you haven't, hope you don't, okay? It's a lot. It's very emotionally draining. But guess what? When I go to build my ACN business, no matter what I'm doing, but right now we're talking networking. When I go to my networking stuff, right? And I go and I fix, I freshen my face and make sure the hair looks good. I get dressed, right? And I'm putting those heels on, right? And I'm changing bags. So whatever, right? So I'm doing the thing, right? Before I do the very first thing to get ready for my networking event, I make sure that this is right. I make sure that the beep that I'm going through, there we go with the beeping thing again, Harrison, right? But I make sure that what I'm going through personally doesn't affect me professionally. Matter of fact, where I've progressed in my journey is now I use what I'm going through personally to promote me professionally. I am using this beep to absolutely change the course of my life, because I am now a single mother with a kid in college without a job, who's like living her quality life. Did I tell you she went to Waikiki for spring break, right? I'm like, you guys, so when you can find the reason why you're doing this, and then you can absolutely have the right mindset before going to build your business, that is where your power comes from. But if you sit there and let your affect you when you go to build your business, then that's what you're building. You're building a pile of. So do you want to build your wealth, or do you want to build your pile of, right? So what are you doing here? And those of you who show up when somebody asks you, how are you doing? And you say anything other than something amazing, positive. And I don't give a, if you don't feel that way, say it, because the more you say it, the more it will become true. And if it's not, then figure that out. Figure out your, right? Because nobody wants to be with Eeyore. I'm sorry, I lied. Other Eeyores want to be with Eeyore. So is that who you want to surround yourself with? You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Do you want to be full of Eeyores with a pile of, or do you want to be a bunch of professional tiggers out there 9 to 5, doing your job at 5 to 9, building your wealth so you can have the lifestyle that Mr. Al Thomas wants? How are you showing up? And it starts with, how's your day going? And I don't care whether you're at a networking event, at the gas station, at the grocery store, or asking yourself that in the mirror. What is your answer? And if it's anything other than positive, then you're Eeyore, and that's who you're going to attract. And maybe, just maybe, that's why you're stuck where you are. I don't know. It's a guess. And I'm going to get off my soapbox now. Sorry. I'm going to turn this back over to you, Mr. Thomas. Sometimes I go in my Keri mode. But as always, I do appreciate you and everything that you do for me personally, professionally, and the helping us to build our amazing team and the larger national ACN. And I love you and appreciate you. And I look forward to our conversation in May. And I will break this down more strategically, so when you go out and network, you can be successful. So